is a great honor to be recognized at NASCIO at the national level. We've worked really hard on this governance structure to put it into place and create a lot of relationships with our state agency partners and our customers. And since we've initiated the new governance model, we've gotten 4 agency volunteers to come into the data center, and we're looking at more university opportunities. But I think it's just we're real proud to have that in place.
The owner-operator model, which is really what the governance award was based on, is really an effort to get our customers, executives, and technical people involved in the daily operations of the data center program. So they've turned around very much in terms of not wanting to participate in the program to actually being active and voluntary participants in the program. Sally has done a great job of getting them involved. Karen has done a great job of getting her peers involved and participating in the overall project itself. We've had some great success over the last 3 or 4 years in turning that program around, and I think the award is reflective of that.
So our mission and charge from our legislature was to consolidate our agency's data centers to save money for taxpayers while raising security and disaster recovery, which meant that agencies were mandated to consolidate. And we approached it from the perspective of we would be the integrator of that, and we would allow agencies to advise us as we move forward. And what we learned, and we all know intuitively, is when you have a structure that you allow your participants, your stakeholders advise you, you get critics, not problem solvers. And so with that model, we were never able to truly engage agencies enough that they got what they wanted and that the taxpayers got what they wanted. With our governance structure, which is a very well-defined, intentional model that engages our agencies at all levels within their organization to solve problems and have a voice in the decisions that affect them, that now we found that our customer satisfaction for the services delivered in the data center grew 46 percentage points from the old model to the new model. And we found that our agencies are much more collaborative, and we can actually achieve our objectives now to really save money for the taxpayers of Texas. So while it seems like a simple idea, it's really quite complex when you try to put it into a structure that everyone will follow and believe and trust that we'll all manage to the structure. And it goes beyond data center. I mean, right, because everything that we need to do to save money in IT is to share services. And if there's not a good governance model to share those services, you're not going to have any participants to play. So the model itself is the model that can go in any kind of education or government or wherever you have to have multiple stakeholders with autonomous structures and autonomous budgets.
You know, I'll say one thing too. I think it's really reflective of Karen's leadership that the real focus, the spirit behind all that is that we're doing things with our customers, not to our customers.
Yeah.
It's a big difference
Huge.
and underlying philosophy around the culture that Karen's created.
Yeah.
Well, we asked them to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. And you can look right at them and say that, and they want to be part of the solution. They want to figure out how to get this done.
One of the panels yesterday was on collaboration with universities, and Karen spoke on that panel. And so many people want to know how to collaborate. How do you collaborate? And Karen's gift to us is to teach us and to guide us in how to develop those relationships along with the structures that you put in place to collaborate. You can't have one or the other and expect collaboration to occur. They both have to be there pretty much hand in hand. And so that's kind of the beauty of it. We all bring different gifts to the table.
I've never been a gift before. Thank you.
Her gift is to pave the way, building those relationships with the executives so that we can then manage a program and deliver the services.
So believe it or not, I would say our data center transition. Karen gave me the opportunity to lead the transition from our old original single source provider to our new MSI model and implement that transition. And I think we did a fantastic job really changing an engine on an airplane while it was in mid-flight. It was a lot of work, and a lot of people put a lot of energy into doing it and getting it right. We had no outages during the transition period. When the clock hit midnight at the end of ceasing operations with our original provider, and then implementing operations with a new model and a new provider, a new set of providers, I think is unparalleled in terms of my professional career, in terms of the potential risk of disaster occurring, from with regard to all of the mission critical systems for the state of Texas, and potentially at play. And we were able to pull that off successfully. I think that probably is the single biggest project I've ever done, and certainly the most proud of.
My favorite project has been reorganizing the whole agency and putting the quality of people that we need in place to get the really hard projects done. I took a very top level look at the entire organization when I came in, not just the whole state, but the organization that has our boots on the ground people, and realized that I needed to do some serious reorganization. And we worked hard as a team to cut our budget. So since 2009, when I came on, we've cut our operating budget 47%. We've reduced our FTE cap by 30 people, I guess, which is significant in an agency that was 230 people. Now we're right around 200. We've got smart people, and I've got people that want to be part of the team and step up and do the really hard work. I have initiated brown bag lunches with boots on the ground folks. I call them boots on the ground because they're the front line of defense. They're the front line folks that are in there. We have monthly lunches. We have a lot of fun in the agency as well. But we're a completely cost recovery agency. We have no general revenue, so all of our budget is built on fees, and our constant goal is to reduce our fees to our state agency customers. And that's been the most fun for me and one of the most successful projects that I've done.
So my favorite project has been, of course, data center. But specifically, when we first started the data center model and tried to implement that model, we had all sorts of challenges, things that didn't go well and didn't work right at all. And we had a lot of negative feedback. We had over 80% of our agencies wanting to disband the whole model. And so when we decided we were going to restructure the entire model and reprocure, our leadership said, now's the time to fix, rather than now's the time to walk away. And I loved that. I love going back and recounting all the things that didn't work and why they didn't work, and how are we going to fix that the next time around through a procurement model, through a governance model, through collaboration. And it was about 1.5 to 2 years of work to try to solve many of those problems, but it's been so rewarding on the back end to see service levels are met now, and they're met because of the way that we procured, because of the way that we set up our SLAs, because of the way that we structured our documentation and process. So I'm excited about that. That's been the most rewarding for me.
And by the way, that new model, that MSI model, when we adopted that with that reprocurement, nobody else was doing it. I think there was one operational instance in Europe.
And that was it.
And that was it. So, really, I think the spirit that Karen brings is that willingness to take a risk, but a calculated risk, and not, be uncertain about that. But it was certainly pushing the envelope.